Hi, it's Liz Sneddon here, and I'm just going to talk you through some ideas around feedback. So this is my ideal feedback process. Don't always get there with every student, but this is what my ideal would be. So this would be when I'm doing a practice task or when I'm just doing a smaller investigation. So they would first submit their first draft. I then give them some feedback on it, and I would give them written feedback only. Then I get the student to review that feedback and redraft it, because then processing it is quite an important thing, and then I need to check have they actually understood and been able to rewrite it. And by doing this will help get work that is the student's own rather than just straight copying off exemplars that I've done and using my wording. So then I get the student to submit that second draft, I review that second draft, and then the student reviews, then gets the feedback from me and processes my feedback a second time. So then they try again a third time, I review that a third time, and only then do I give them a letter grade indicating where they might be at. So, and it's important that I hold that off, because once they get that, they don't bother reading the actual feedback I give them. So that's why I make it go in these processes that they actually have to redraft it based on written feedback before I'm going to give them any actual feedback. So when doing this distance learning, I find that I need to obviously spread out the load of getting feedback, and because I'm not seeing the kids every day, I need to be able to give them more regular feedback. So when it's a smaller task, they can just work on that task, and it might take them one lesson, half a lesson, maybe 2 lessons at most for a smaller task, and then they just complete the task and submit the whole task. However, particularly when I'm doing, for example, year 13s, doing a practice assessment, they might have a week to do a practice task over, so I make them submit it every day so that they get small blocks of feedback at a time, and it spreads my load over as well. So when I get students' work, some students prefer to write on paper, some prefer to type. So some students have got a printer at home where they'll print the work out, or they might already have a workbook, or they've just got their maths exercise book that they can work on. Or some students would rather quite happy to work and type their answers up into a document. So I need to think about both types. So when they're ready to share that with me, they can either upload, and that can send that to email, Google Classroom, anything else. And so some of them will take a photo of their work if they've done it on paper, and so they can either use their phone, or if they want to use the webcam. And if they're doing that, I recommend teaching them how to use Microsoft Lens. That's quite good. Or they can just send that typed document through to me. So when I give feedback, I like to give them lots of comments, and because I do a lot of similar comments on similar types of things, I often make myself a comment bank so that I can just speed up my process. Often I'll give them a link to a video explanation and say, look, you haven't written your question quite right. Here, you think about your population, and here's a video to go and watch to know more. I can highlight things, I can cross things out, and more. So let me just show you an example of a comment bank. So what I've done here, for example, year 12 simulation, I have just gone through and I've got a whole bunch of sentences, asking them to, why did you choose 3 random numbers? Making sure that they've got the total number of trials. So things that they commonly do, and I've done that for many of the topics that I've just got, discuss the features. It's a good prediction, but so I've made myself a comment bank like that. What I want to do now is just show you, I use a program at the moment called Chem II, which I quite like, and I'll just show you how that works. So there's a couple of different options. One thing you can do is you can do it online, so you can create yourself an account and do it online on the web there, but you can also, just down the bottom here, there's a Chrome extension, or if you've got Google there, or if you've got an app. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to just open up a new tab, because I've already got it there, and I've got the Chrome extension, which I can then see my little Chem II circle up the top here. So if I click and open that, and it just says, okay, well, where do you want to get the file from? So I'm going to grab it from my computer, and let me just see what I can find. So if I open it from my computer, and I have, I think, a document here, one of my students, and I can do that as a Word, a PowerPoint, a PDF, most image files. So I'm going to say yes, go ahead, load that in. And so that loads this up into my Chem II. So you can see you've got a number of different tools down the side here. I can add a comment. I can add text boxes, and this is quite a useful thing, and I can choose what colour I might want those. So I can add in a comment here. What are your variables? And so I can change the font size of those, and so on. There's a number of things that I can do there. I can also change the background colour so that it kind of stands out as a little box that I've made there. Under the drawing tool, if I want to, so if I just scroll down to where he's got one of his graphs, I might want to, for example, highlight the fact that, look, there is some kind of fan effect going on there. I can draw that onto the graph. I can also, with a little box here, I can highlight something that they might have missed, and I can change how wide that is. I can obviously erase anything that I don't want in there. And in terms of markup, if there's things that they've forgotten how to do, I can highlight those, or if I want to make it a bigger box highlighter, I can, or if I want to strike through some work that, some writing that's not correct, I can strike that one through. So there's lots of things that I can do there, and when I've done all the changes I want to, then up the top here there's a little download button, and so I can say, right, download that, and download it with the annotations, and I can export that. So let me show you for a moment. So this is an example of one that I've already done. I can add little stickers in there, and so I can do little drawings and all sorts to give them detailed feedback about things that I think they need to think about more. So this one, they talk about subgroups, and I can draw more stuff on it to help explain to them what's going on. If I look at this is a year 9 one that I did, and I can just go through and I can tick and cross all the answers and all that kind of stuff, just as this was a PDF document that the student sent through to me. So yeah, so that's what I would do for the feedback. So if you have any questions about stuff, or you want to get in touch, you're welcome to send me an email, and hope this is helpful for you.